jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.
Once again, you're tuned in to World Combat Sports Salute. Everyone that's in the building, you know what it is. Salute to the WCS supporters, as always, the ones who support the channel, the dedicated ones, the boxing fans, the fanatics, the aficionados, everything above. We had a congested fight weekend yesterday. We had the UFC that was going on, and we had Showtime, the Zone. It was all over the place. Top Rank, man. It was just fights all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we have to talk about it in the fight recap. You know what I'm saying? So Trick Note in the building. What's good? What's good? He said, what's good, WCS? What's good with you, Trick? Salute to you, my brother. Good to see you on deck again. First in here since I was first, I need that gift card to the Cheesecake Factory. Say less, man. Say less, man. You know what I'm saying? Say less, Trick. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I got you. But overall, salute to you, fam. Good morning. What's good, man? What's good with you, Trick? Hey, let me take this down. In the building, do me a favor and hit the like button, man, if you choose to. I think the first one I'm going to get out the way real quick is, the situation that was supposed to went down yesterday with Devin Haney signing the contract before midnight and all this other shit. Morning has risen, and I don't see it out here on main networks, but I did entertain some people who wanted to then break the information. I purposely did it, knowing that it wasn't entirely true. The reason why I did it, because it just goes to show you how influenced people are with breaking news, and believe that if a certain person show up in their live chat, they're influencing me to break news. Nah, I see people break news on YTC all the freaking time that's not entirely accurate. You know what I'm saying? And that's why certain individuals don't take the YouTube community serious when it comes to maximizing, the validity of the information that's put out. But I'm gonna put it to you like this, man. Let's talk about if the fight does happen with Devin Haney and Kambosos, right? What we can't deny is both of them have a style that can present problems to one another. Devin has speed in itself. He has boxing IQ, and he has the ring generalship to pretty much get Kambosos problems with closing the distance. Now, the ring generalship I'm talking about, I don't think it's going to be more so the Jorge Linares type of action, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to go out there and fight him close early like Teofimo Lopez did. Why? Because Kambosos has shown he has power. You know what I'm saying? and he has a sneaky overhand right that's pretty damn good on the slingshot. And Devin has to be very cautious and alert not to be touched up by that. But also, you have Devin Haney that can box on the outside and give us that Yorkis Gamboa type setting where he just keeps his distance and box, and it's not the most entertaining fight. Now, for me, I'm gonna keep it neutral as possible. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you I want to see a good fight. But when it comes down to what we know, like what Devin Haney understands about himself, he needs to go in there and fight a smart fight. Does he have to prove anything to anybody? You know, the boxing fans are always going to be finicky when it comes to, you know, just being satisfied with shit. For Devin Haney, he cannot go in there and give us a performance like Gamboa, but smart, intelligent wise, if he feels the power of Cambosis, he needs to make an adjustment that benefits him picking up the belts in the end. You know what I'm saying? Not the audience, not the people in the seats, because they're never going to be satisfied. They might want you to go in there and give that pressure like you did Jorge Linares, and hopefully you get touched and go through adversity and don't make it to the final bell. Then you have to look at it in a more educated standpoint that you just dare to pick up the titles, put on performance, pick up the titles, and, you know, etch the lightweight division onto your legacy as being undisputed with no belts out there. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing I can say. Like, some of these fights aren't always going to be interesting. No, it was a time and period where Shakur Stevenson had Toko Kanklari and Jeremiah Nakatilia, and he didn't look his best, and people was doubting, you know, Shakur Stevenson. He was taking a tremendous amount of precipitated criticism. They was raining down whatever they wanted on Shakur Stevenson, saying he was overhyped. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the other. He's not the goods like we thought. And then, you know, you put him in there with you know, different opponents, and he started to shine, and people start to look at him like, oh, well, he is the goods, you know. He's a two-way champion right now. And he's young in the game. So they look at it like the seasons, you know what I'm saying? Like the weather. You know, with boxing fans, the shit switches up all the time. So you just gotta basically dress for the occasion. With Devin Haney, definitely have to fight a smart fight. For Cambosis, you know, Cambosis is going to go in there, in my opinion, with a lot more courage than he did Teofimo Lopez, because the word is out that, you know, Devin Haney doesn't have this power. He's been in fights where, like with Jojo Diaz, he didn't hurt Jojo not one time. You know, just the fights that he's been in where he really couldn't do damage to his opponent. So if you have a strong-headed bull like Cambosis, he's definitely going to try to test that early. Seriously, if Cambosis can go in there like he did Teofimo Lopez, and it wasn't like Cambosis was pressing Teo early. It was more so the reckless abandonment of Teo getting in close and not being smart. You know what I'm saying, with his offense, and just throwing caution to the wind, man. And he ended up getting caught on the chin. And that's what I'm saying. Like, Cambosis may think Devin Haney is not a threat, and he may use the same tactics that Teofimo did. He might come out early, test the waters while he's fresh, because that's when he's most dangerous, Cambosis. When he's fresh, and try to put in a little work early, to rattle Devin Haney a little bit. Because in my opinion, I don't think he's going to be scared of the power that Devin Haney possesses. I truly don't. I don't think Cambosis is going to have any type of fear of the power. The only thing he may have concern about is, like I said, the ring IQ. How educated Devin Haney is when he's in there boxing. But Cambosis is no slouch now. Cambosis is not some some student of boxing that's been skipping class and not putting in work. He's very educated himself. He know how to delegate his boxing authority. He has power, and I agree with what Timothy Bradley said. Cambosis is a bit quicker than we give him credit for. He was landing some shots on Tszyu, you know, counter shots. Sometimes he was taking the lead, but when you go in there like Tszyu and you present them with the forward aggression, you allow them to be able to have that target of counter striking, and it's a lot more easier for them going out here looking for it. I'm just trying to find out like what type of um what type of game plan is Devin Haney going to have? Are they going to go in there and try to put aggression early on like they did Jorge Linares? You know what I'm saying? Are we gonna have that close quarters like fighting like Jojo Diaz? I don't know, man. I don't know. Or was it just George Kambosos looking good against a Teofimo Lopez that wasn't entirely 100% healthy that fight, and he was able to land the right shots, hitting them on the clock. You know what I'm saying? Checking in and being able to shine because he did bloody up T.O. in that fight. So he was landing some solid punches now, enough to the point where T.O. was bleeding. There's a lot of questions, in my opinion, if this fight happens, um, that'll happen for both fighters. Real talk, because as much as people can say, Devin Haney doesn't have power, he can clearly go in there and outbox Kambosos, in my opinion. But I heard an article. I read in an article where they said that Devin Haney doesn't have that good of cardio. And in there with the bull, Australian bull like Kambosos, he's going to have his cardio on point. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely going to have his cardio on point. Now, who he's going to use for his strength and conditioning for this fight, if it gets signed, I don't know. I remember a rumor was going around that it was going to be Blu-ray. I'm not sure about that. I don't know if Bill Haney will allow Blu-ray to have that leeway to go in there and enforce such a strict training regime on Devin Haney for this fight. I don't know. It's almost like you have to look at Devin being 27 victories in, right? Will Bill Haney be receptive to allow somebody that's gonna basically take Devin to a whole nother, level, a mental or psychological state of training for such a big fight? Because with that, you have to make sure that fighter is able to go in there and box. You have to make sure that that fighter is able to go in there injury free and continue to train. So that's what it comes down to when it comes to strength and condition. You have to make sure you have a person who is logical, who is for one, a team player, and three, totally understands the end state of the team at the end of the day when it comes to strength and conditioning. We'll see how that plays out, man, because it sounded good when it first broke that Blu-ray may potentially be training Devin Haney for Kambosos' fight, but we don't know. It's a lot of rumor mill that floats around here, and it just turns out to be tumbleweed, to be honest. So let's just keep our ears open and see whatever happens with this fight, if it even happens. It's one of those fights that I'm not sure if it is signed that it's going to make the date, because the only reason I keep on mentioning this is because Oleksandr Usyk is left, right, and supposedly Lomachenko was denied, and they made it seem like he chose to stay over there. But then again, we might get a scenario that plays out that someone can get injured or whatever, supposedly, and then Lomachenko steps in as if it's a last minute replacement because it's a 2-fight deal. So that kind of pinches the fan base a little bit with leaving a little doubt to say, damn, if this does play out, that Devin Haney pulls out the last minute because of this or whatever, and Lomachenko steps in, it was planned like that all along. And Lomachenko would have been pretty much training the entire time anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because we seen Usyk. Usyk was in civilian attire, and I'm pretty sure he's been in the gym training. I believe that Lomachenko is somewhere doing what he's doing. And I'm just curious to how this is going to play out, because there's always hocus pocus, damn abracadabra shit that's going on with boxing media. Anyway, I'm off that shit. Andrew Charles on deck, man. I see you. What's good with it, Andrew? Cassandra Salute WCS finally called alive. God damn it. Hey, give it up to the queen. Cassandra dropped in. Appreciate you, queen, for dropping in on the live chat. Real talk. I got to put this up here because it's historic. I done seen you on everybody else's live chat. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, Cassandra. Andrew said, I hope the fight gets signed. The whole 3-day notice BS was a huge red flag for me. Hey, talk your shit. That's what I'm talking about, Andrew. Intelligent people think alike. All I'm saying is I'm not trying to sit up here and criticize the picture, the fight. I'm not trying to basically rain down and diminish any value that it has, but no one's talking about if a contract was signed. This is the same shit I told you about when Deontay Wilder was in negotiating with Joshua. WBA came out and said he needs to sign by this time within a week. A week came and went, nothing. I truly don't think the shit was signed, nor have they broke it to any of their Tweety birds over there. The Tweety birds, Mike Coppinger, I haven't heard him talk on it. You know what I'm saying? Dan Raphael, Keith Ioli, I haven't heard any of them even break the news that the fight was signed. I just played along with some individuals last night, because when I pop in their live chat, all of a sudden they want to act like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Let's break this news. It's so childish though. Sometimes, my age, sometimes I play around with a kid. I had kids of my own. I roll a ball over there to them. You know what I'm saying? I do some shit like that. Just so they think they're important. But anyway, gunmetal on deck. Andrew said, I don't get why Haney isn't already down there. Signed or not signed, he should be making noise in Kambosos' yard. What he's supposed to be doing, you have to factor in the flight. The hours of the flight is incredibly important, right? And then to get acclimated, you're talking to somebody who spent a lot of time going back and forth overseas, man. And your body has to get acclimated, real talk. Like, it can hold more water. You can go through jet lag that can mess things up. So you definitely have to get over there an ample amount of time, go on some runs, get acclimated in the heat, the weather, just everything, the food. Just get situated so you can get that jet lag. So you can that jet lag can leave your body. It's important that they don't come over there the week before on a Wednesday and think they're going to be good. I would say come over there at least 3 weeks ahead of time. 3 to 4 weeks ahead of time, man. Real talk. Because the flight is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Also, you get over there and you don't feel well, you still have enough time to get over it. And then start working, being on weight, and balance those scales out so we can have a fight. I'm gonna be honest with you. I seriously, the way I look at it is just something that doesn't seem genuine about this. I'm still thinking about Lomachenko in my review on how he, was talking about he wanted to come back for the Kambosos fight and they denied him and shit, but yet turn around Alexander Usyk get approved. Look, what's different between Usyk and Lomachenko? Absolutely nothing when it comes to their country. Nothing. So if Usyk, even though he has a bigger fight when it comes down to the magnitude of it, Usyk is no different than Devin Haney when you know. I mean, Vasyl Lomachenko, Usyk is no different than Lomachenko. He's fighting Joshua, who's lost twice, but the fight is much more valuable than a Devin Haney and Kambosos. We all know that. That's simple mathematics. But Lomachenko using Devin Haney's name, and then something happens at the last minute, and Lomachenko is that replacement. I'm going to call bullshit. Pretty much that's the way they wanted to go down anyway. Boxing is always up to some hat tricks, man. They never cease to amaze us with the hat tricks. So, just keep that on your thought process. That's what it is. Just keep that on your thought process, man. It's not too far from the truth. Tszyu yesterday, right? The son of Tszyu. He fought Terrell Gausha, who, in my opinion, y'all, shout out to Terrell Gausha, shout out to Tszyu. In my opinion, with Terrell Gausha, I thought, and I was chatting back and forth with my boy Dion, like we do a lot of boxing cards, right? And I was looking at two different fights. You had the Berchelt fight going on against Jeremiah Nakathilia, and then you had the Tszyu and Gausha. Both fights was action-packed, man, to a point. When it comes to entertainment value, I was looking at the way Nakathilia was giving Berchelt that work. I was like, "Ooh, Berchelt looked bad. Like, what's wrong now?" He said he didn't feel himself, but Nakathilia, give it up for Nakathilia. God damn, he was looking sharp in that motherfucker, dog. Not to mention he called out Devin Haney, but he was looking very sharp in there. And then, this is the same guy who said that Shakur Stevenson didn't want to engage him. Well, that's a dangerous fight for Shakur Stevenson to sit up there and attempt to gauge that guy, Nakathilia, just like Miguel Berchelt was trying to do. But let's get back to Gausha. Gausha, in my opinion, had gears. Seriously, I believe he could have sit up here and made it a more competitive fight. One judge had it 114, 113. But as much as I don't want to criticize the brothers, right? He knocked Tszyu down easily on the first semester of the fight. Then it kind of took me back to Luke Campbell, Ryan Garcia shit. It kind of took me back to Chavez Jr. and Canelo Alvarez when he already signed the fight with Gennady. I just always use these fights because this is a prime example on how fighters can go in the ring and move around. I felt that Gausha park benching up against the ropes, allowing Tszyu to go in and get off combinations, even though a lot of those shots were hitting the gloves. But, every now and then I just felt like Gausha, if he really wanted to bite down and stand his ground, he could have against Tszyu. Like Tszyu had his moment, when he had him in the corner and, he was landing some nice stiff punches. He went to the body and it seemed like, Gausha was going to take a knee or else it was going to be a knockdown, but it never happened. But when I'm looking at Gausha doing in between rounds, I'm looking at how he's talking, how his mannerisms, how his posture. It seems like he had good cardio, bro. So if you're not breathing hard and it doesn't seem like fatigue is setting in like that, that means you have more left in the tank. And in my opinion, I expected more out of Tszyu, but hey, some fighters have bad days, man. I don't know, but I just think he's a bit overhyped right now to me. I think Tszyu is a bit overhyped. And when you're going to press somebody like you, Gennady Golovkin, you got to pretty much understand that you're going to get punched. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get punched in the fucking face. And if your chin is not like Gennady, you're gonna lay out in the canvas. And that's exactly what Tim Tszyu said. I don't give a fuck about him saying it was a flash knockdown. He caught you easily with a shot that really wasn't mustard, ketchup, relish, coleslaw, jalapeno peppers. It wasn't even like that. It didn't have all the fixings on it. It wasn't an Oscar Valdez type, knock. It wasn't the punch that knocked out Miguel Berchelt's mouthpiece yesterday. Silent Kings in the building. What's good? What up, WCS? Finally caught the live. Been missing it. Appreciate you pulling up, my brother. The old bait and switch wouldn't surprise me either. Yeah, man. They love the hocus pocus type magic tricks, man. They love putting on a show. Stringing the fans along. A lot of people weren't satisfied with the Gausha effort. I wasn't either, bro. And once again, this YouTube shit, they always want to be quick to say you criticizing black fighters, but black fighters exist in boxing. I didn't think in that manner that he gave every effort he possibly could. Because him beating Tim Tszyu would have absolutely catapulted him to another level. It would have levitated his career a bit more. But it just seems like he pretty much capitulated to taking a backseat to Tim Tszyu. You know what I'm saying? He surrendered. He got down, balled up, and he just played the role of sparring partner. And I definitely don't like it when it's a brother because, hey, the brothers are few and far in between, man. Our numbers are dwindling. And Gausha could have put himself in a position like Erickson Lubin to potentially have a title shot. But he was up against the ropes for fun. You know what I'm saying? Gausha was up against the ropes for fun. Cassandra said, yeah, he got the first round knockdown, but it was downhill from there. Damn, I wanted Gausha to win. I wanted Gausha to win too. I wanted Gausha to win. But how are you going to win when you're trying to hang out on the ropes and land a counter shot to a boxer who's pretty much making adjustments because you've given him that high guard and there's so many angles that he can make entry to land his shots. First of all, it's the body. You know what I'm saying? When a person has a high guard, according to where their eyes at, you can always go to the body. One thing about it, you don't have to look at your body to know you're going to get hit there. You're not looking at your body. You're just going to make the necessary adjustments as far as your posture and your arm placement to block the shots. But still, they're going to hit your arm and everything. But I don't think Gausha was in the right frame of mind to win that fight. I don't think his overall goal was to go in there and win. Because you wasn't injured. And then when you did the interview with Jim Gray, you seemed to be in very good spirits, healthy, holding your own water bottle, just like it was another day at the fucking gym, bro. You know what I'm saying? You kind of gave us that effort like you and Erickson Lubin. Like, shit, him and Erickson Lubin, they didn't really get jumping to 10th round. And you even hurt Lubin. But not too much after that. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is going on with Gausha, man? You better than this. And then you go in there and look, you land a left right on Javante Clark and stops him. That shows you have power, bro. Sebastian Fundora couldn't even do that shit to Javante Clark. Once again, I repeat, Sebastian the Tower Inferno Fundora couldn't even do that to Javante Clark. And you stopped him in the second round, and you go in here with Tim Tszyu, who I don't think is more dangerous than Sebastian Fundora, and you just hang out. Shit's crazy, man. Tim Tszyu isn't even on my radar. Mr. Pass on deck. Salute WCS. Good fights yesterday. Absolutely, man. Even the women. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get to the Roman, the champion Um, Roman or Roman, she was in there to defend her belt for an eighth time, and she didn't get it done against Bridges. Bridges, man, that was a good fight. We're gonna get to that. WCS, do you agree with me that the judges' scorecards in the Zoo fight was poor? I thought Zoo dominated, but in the eyes of the judges, it was very close. This is my definition, right? Even though it's opinionated, right? And subjective. When you say dominated, you have to look at like a lot of punches that Tim Tszyu was landing on Gausha was off his gloves. Like we all know, depending on who's ringside, what they're looking at. We always say that there's very little consistency with the judging when it comes down to it. Why? Because it's pretty much, who's for the promotion. They pretty much understand the promotion and this, that, and the other. I always go back to the story. This taught me a lot, right? This taught me a lot. Bear with me. This taught me a lot. I always go back to the story when I was at the MGM Grand. I walked up. I was fishing late at night for interviews to see who the stragglers was. And I saw this table in there at a restaurant. And it was pretty late at the MGM. So I saw Dillian White. And that's the first time I met Dillian. So I went in there and I found out who was all sitting at the table, which I'm not going to discuss. But that taught me a lot because I was told not to take a picture of the table. I promise you, if I would have took a picture of the table, it would have been the only one of its kind because you would have asked yourself, how can those people be sitting at that table and we got a fight card coming up? Why are these people here with this, this, and this? I probably would have never been able to get a credential again. I'm just saying. So anyway, back to what I was saying with the domination aspect of it. They're trying to raise up Tim Tszyu, riding off the momentum of his father. It doesn't matter what the scorecards because a lot of those punches, yeah, he had him up against the ropes and he was down, just like you hitting a heavy bat, pop, 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 and then they was bouncing off the gloves and shit. But some of them they was landing some solid shots to the body, to the head. But a lot of those shots was goddamn, hitting off the gloves. I wouldn't call it a pure domination, but I would call it a fight that Tim Tszyu did win. I can't say it was just pure domination because one person chose to sit back and put on his seatbelt or sit back and recline on the park bench and watch people pedestrian. Watch Tim Tszyu pedestrian, the ring and shit, however he feel like it. It wasn't like he was hurt and he parked up against the ropes because he was hurt and he was attempting to recover. It wasn't even none of that shit. It just seems like he didn't have the courage that night to be the better fighter because that wasn't his position. That wasn't the orders. No one can tell me that Terrell Gausha was anywhere close to going out on his shield. Stop it. Stop it, bro. Come on now. You trying to tell me the times that Gausha really got off, he wasn't effective? When he was landing on Tszyu, he wasn't effective? So you trying to tell me the energy that he put out, it was close enough for him going out on his shield? He gave it all he could? No, he did not. Yeah, his corner told him to stay off the ropes. Yeah, hey, Cassandra. Also, his corner told him to stay off the ropes, right? And also they told him to lift his head up. Tell me, keep your head up. Look at what you're doing. Because if you have the high guard and you're looking down, well, that allows your opponent to know that you're looking down, and it allows them much more of a presentation on what they're going to hit you with. Hooks, uppercuts, hooks to the body. It doesn't matter because you're not looking. You're not paying attention. All you're doing is there standing and waiting. If a fighter have a high guard up like that and they're looking down, that's a motherfucking problem, bro. And I was so disappointed. I said, you know what? This is what I thought Gausha could do. He's capable of doing this when he knocked down Tim Tszyu early. But after that, it's the same remnants of what I seen with Ryan Garcia and Luke fucking Campbell. Come on, man. What the fuck? Luke Campbell was an Olympian, right? He's been here before. That's boxing, though. Gausha received the orders. You know what I'm saying? Gausha received the orders. I guess people was cheering Gausha on like he did an outstanding job, only because he was in there with Tszyu and he hit him with the shots. That people was like, oh, it was on and all about the shots that Gausha. And I'm saying to myself, he can do that at will. That's easy work. Gausha can do this shit all night, but he's not committed to being that guy tonight. Berchelt looked awful. Man, he's done, man. I like Berchelt, but Nakatili was on his ass last night, man. He was on his ass with some goddamn track spikes, wasn't he? He was running all up and down motherfucking Berchelt's back. For real. I like Berchelt, but Nakatili was on his ass last night. Mr. Pass, yeah, that 114, 113 was scary. Once again, the 114, 113. How many times have we seen a judge either have a scorecard that was a draw or have a scorecard that was like 114, 113 that's quite different than the other two scorecards that's there? How many times? We're going to continue to see this shit. It don't matter how many fighters are fucked over. It don't matter how corrupt some of the judging is. People have to understand that there's certain individuals that eat dinner with certain individuals and they understand certain fights are more important than others. That's all I'm gonna say on that. 114 and 113, man, that don't, when it comes down to it, it was like, hey, it wasn't gonna be in favor. It's no way a scorecard was gonna be in favor of Gausha. He just didn't do enough. But just because they made it close, man, it's games up there, man. It's not even chess, man. That's like Uno. The way these judges go out here, it's Uno to them, man. It's draw 4. It's Uno. It's like going to them playing Uno, man, playing spades and shit. It's just like going to a night out with these judges, for real. They're not worried about anything. If they have a scorecard like 114, 113, you think they're going to get punished? You think they're going to get reprimanded? Hell fucking no. Because this shit happens all the time, bro. Just look at the amateurs. That'll tell you right there. They're basically psychologically conditioning these fighters to get fucked over. And if they do it to a point where if you have a big name and they fuck you over, and that fuck you moment stays with you for a long time, then they feel that you've been acclimated long enough from the amateurs, so when it happened to you in the pros, you're not gonna feel certain type of way about it. You know what I'm saying? Because this happened to me in the amateurs. They pretty much condition you for the shit. They shampoo the fuck out of you. You good? All right, that brainwashing ain't cheap now. Now, I know it cost you a victory in the AMs. It cost you that medal that you thought you should have had. But go to the pros, man. I'm not guaranteeing it's not going to happen again. Shampoo the fuck out you, bro. After last night, they probably paid off Gausha's house off and kids' college education. Yeah, man. Gausha up there holding. Look, Gausha up there, his face is barely swollen up. He's holding his own water bottle. Not a team member. Look, not a team member around at the interview. When have you seen shit? Come on, bro. Like this dude looked like he just got out the gym. I was disappointed, my brother. Real talk, I was disappointed, man. I was disappointed. I wasn't totally upset about it because the shit happened in boxing. That's unfortunate. Shit happens in boxing all the time where dudes get their house paid off, just like Trick was saying, like, certain things are taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Certain things are handled when the fighter gets the order. Hey, we trying to push Tszyu to a title fight. You know the orders, right? And this is not something that really has to be spoken on in length, in detail. It's just in boxing for the fighters to totally understand the language. It's almost like you have look at it this way. You know how nonverbal cues are the majority when it comes to communication, right? Nonverbal communication is like over 60% of how we communicate in life, right? So when it comes to details like this, them telling, Gausha, yeah, get ready for the fight. Gausha, all right, I got you, I got you. I have a perfect example. I'm gonna put this video. It's funny as fuck. This is when I was down at Bodyhead Island, um, getting coverage with Roy, Michael Williams Jr., Loco. It's my boy, Team Loco. What's his name? Arias. Angel Santana. All the dudes was down there. Luis Hernandez. Shout out to Luis Hernandez. So it was my first time down there, and Roy really don't like media down at Bodyhead Island like that doing his training sessions because he feel that in order for you to get that knowledge, you should pay for it, right? I know this. I've been down there several times. So it's funny one time when Roy was explaining some shit and I had the camera rolling and he was like, I bullshit you not thought that shit was hilarious. And that's pretty much how they told Gausha, man. They was like, going there. And Gausha, I got you. I ain't gonna win. I'm not there to win. Just move around. For real, man. That shit's bullshit. Dion said Gausha was talking like he sold it post fight. One thing I can say, Dion, is that Jim Gray is going to ask the tough motherfucking questions nicely, unless you piss him the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to understand how Adrian told him to come over there. I mean, he's been there with some man. Jim Gray, in my opinion, was extremely nice to Terrell Gausha yesterday. See, Jim Gray gives you that minister type, preacher and goddamn a population of 1,000, in the community. He gives you that vibe like he's a preacher over there. He's gonna ask you a hard question, but he's gonna do it in the most carefree, calming state of mind possible. And he really didn't berate Gausha like he should have. He should have said, Gausha, I believe you could have did more and you could have made this fight very much close than what it was on the scorecards and what the people was looking at. But a lot of times you just pretty much surrendered to the ropes and you was comfortable there. Shout out to Bruce Goes, the OG in the building. I'm just going to call you Bruce. Gas sound funny. I know what it is now. Hearing people talk about it, I know what it is. But shout out to Bruce Gas, man. WCS, I have the same story you're talking about that happened to a fighter that went to fall in Argentina. I have to find out what exactly you mean though. Terrell Throsha. Oh, Throsha. Terrell Throsha. Get it? Yeah. Throw the fuck out that fight. Shout out to Pac-Man on deck. Jose Vargas looked like shit. I see why they told me no cause. I definitely said yes when it was presented to me to fight him. Josue, man. First of all, he looked super small compared to his opponent. You know what I'm saying? I don't, that dude, Michelle Rivera. I mean, goddamn old boy looks small as shit. I don't know what Vargas wasn't on. His diet didn't look right. I mean, it wasn't like Rivera dominated the motherfucker and had him super duper hurt and all that other shit. But hey, it could have been a better fight in my opinion. But Rivera was goddamn. That dude is big. That's the closest I get to seeing Muhammad Ali in the ring from a distance. For real. When I look at a distance, he looked like I'm looking at Ali, in some of his past fights. But he don't fight like Ali. But he didn't have no problem in that fight for real. Being boxing on deck, man. Salute to you. Bruce goes boxing. Salute my friend. How you doing today? Your Vargas didn't look too hot last night. Um, I'm hit bite dude. That was funny. Yeah, man. I don't know what the fuck was going on with him, man. Like, why did he do that shit? I think with all those fights, let me check something out. With all those fights that was going on, hold on for a second. Now, well, who I was cross threading with Joseph Adorno. Joseph Adorno, in my opinion, man, looks super small compared to Rivera. I don't know who his nutritionist is. He didn't look strong, nor would he's as look like he was aesthetically in shape. Now I know this is boxing, and some fighters go in there and they can still put in the work. Like look at Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia looked like shit, weighing in for motherfucking Robert Easter. And I mean, he looked like a saturated French fry on that motherfucking stage before he weighed in. Body shape looked body shape looked all square and shit, but he went in there and he did what he had to do. With Adorno, he just didn't look like he had any strength to do any damage. You know what I'm saying against Rivera. Rivera, I ain't gonna lie to you. Rivera looked like he was goddamn 140, 147. That dude ain't gonna. He's not gonna be at that weight much longer. It ain't no way in hell. They better make that move just like Xander Zayas did. He found out 47 wasn't gonna cut it, and he got the fuck up out of that mountain. Now, for Josue Vargas, right? For Josue Vargas, man, it's hard. It's hard to come back from you know what happened last time against Cepeda. It's just difficult. Real talk. But he went 8 rounds, man. We got to give him for 8 rounds. But for Nicholas DeMario, he chose to get hungry in between the fight, bro. Like you can literally see him biting into the shoulder. Now, it's not like he doesn't have film on how to bite a boxer. There's plenty of film out there on how to bite your opponent. Plenty. Whether is Muay Thai, what is boxing, MMA. It's plenty of footage. And most of the footage where people go to is the both ears of Vander Holyfield being bit by Mike Tyson. That's one of the most brutal, bitings that you would see inside the ring during competition. That dude just bit into to Vargas's shoulder. Like he wasn't even provoked. Like Mike Tyson said, Holyfield, he kept headbutting him. You know what I'm saying? He had to go home to his kids. He was fucked up. Look at me. Look at me. I got to go home to my kids. So he was upset that Holyfield kept headbutting him. And plus he was getting his ass beat. But when it came down to the Mario, it just seems like it came out of nowhere where he bit him in the shoulder. Like shoulder's the wrong place to bite somebody. You should have just went back to what works. The ear. Cartilage. Real talk. It was fucked up. Okay. All right. Trick say he got an interview coming up with Dewey Cooper. Yeah, good guy, man. I like Dewey Cooper, man. He's a mouthpiece to this combat sport. Plus, he used to compete in it. So yeah, shout out to him. One of my favorite Iron Mike quotes is when a reporter asked him about biting Evander. It's a fight. So what? O'Donnell got some skills, but I don't know if he was taught, excuse me, how to get inside, looks like he struggled with that. He probably looked at the size and he probably felt the strength of Rivera. And I'm just thinking like O'Donnell didn't look strong. You know what I'm saying? He didn't look strong to me. He just looked like, yeah, he made weight. Both fighters made weight, but somebody had some IVs, dog. Rivera looked like motherfucking, man, please. Rivera looked like he could have easily competed. Look, I'm gonna tell you point blank. He's way over. He's about 145. Rivera was up there on fight night. Dude looked fresh. He looked like he wasn't having no issues. Man, that was an easy fight. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't fucking know. I don't know what was going on with that shit. I don't know what was going on with that. I mean, I don't know. I know a fighter don't have to come in there and be all muscular and shit. This take Vito Melnicki for example. Vito used to have a body, that didn't look like he was lifting weights. He was still young. The kid was in high school, but look at him now. He done put on muscle and everything else. You know what I'm saying? He done put on muscle the right way, and I'm pretty sure he feels stronger in the ring. Even Xander Zayas, man, you look at him, his frame looks like he's 154. They looked apart. Rivera looked apart, but bigger last night. Well, you know how TV is deceptive. He said in person, Rivera's small, though. A lot of them cats are small, but on TV, comparable to their opponent, motherfuckers look big compared to their opponent. Like, yeah, it's a lot of people that's very small, but when they look on TV comparable to their opposition, they might have some size. You know what I'm saying? Even though in person, to me, yeah, a lot of them fighters look small, but when he was in there with Adorno, I was like, damn, Adorno looks like he's been eating a tofu diet during fight camp. Seriously, dude looked like he was full of tofu. Let's get to Miguel Berchelt, man. Miguel Berchelt was defeated RTD in the sixth, right? He didn't come out for the seventh. The reason why he didn't come out, because goddamn it, people was concerned for his health. Now we all know this is the Miguel Berchelt, former world champion, that came off that brutal knockout of Oscar Valdez. And a lot of people is going to look at this with anticipation and saying, damn, we was waiting for Miguel Berchelt to return, because it's certain people that believe he's still, I don't know, he was going to do some damage at 135. Even Berchelt was sitting in the warning out. He was sitting in the motherfucking warning out to the 135-pound division. He would say, I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? You have to look at his last 10 fights, bro. Look at his last 10 fights prior to stepping in there with Oscar Valdez. TKO, KO, RTD, TKO, 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 UD, KO, KO, TKO. I mean, dude had a reason for people to say, damn, this is going to be a hard fight. I mean, this is going to be a pretty decent fight with him and Oscar Valdez. Being that Oscar Valdez was moving up and shit like that. He was the WBC champion. And the fight was pretty damn good until you got to the 10th round where Valdez flatlined him. It's certain knockouts that doesn't deserve the title flatline. You know what I'm saying? But some absolutely do. And that knockout right there was a flatline knockout. He flatlined him. It was all bad. So coming full circle to this fight, he fought Valdez February 2021, and he came back over a year, and he stepped in there with Jeremiah Nakathilia. Why? Because you got to go through the suspension process. Then you have to go to the test to make sure you're good, your medicals, make sure you go to a neurologist and, just get all your damn sign, your reaction and all your tests done. You feel me? Especially after being flatlined like that, right? So, of course, in boxing, if you're good, I mean, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna pass you, bro. I ain't gonna lie. They're gonna pass you. You have to look at him only having 2 losses. Heading into the Oscar Valdez fight, he only had one. You know what I'm saying? So him only having 2 losses heading into the Nakatila fight, it was a no-brainer that him moving up in weight again, he was gonna be able to, do some damage. The reason why people thought that was just like I told you, look at his knockouts, look at how many times he's lost, which was very minimal. And they just wanted to make sure the guy was cleared. Nakatila put a motherfucking beating on Miguel Berchelt. I'm not gonna lie, man, he gave him a motherfucking ass whooping. I just don't like giving highlights of the fight because most people see it. In my opinion, some fights I'll break down and a lot I don't. Because Nakatila put such a hurting on Miguel Berchelt. I felt bad for the dude. Seriously. We talking about a Mexicano. We talking about somebody who has that respect of being a tough ass fighter. Dude has 34 knockouts, dog. 34 knockouts with 38 victories. Once again, 38 victories with 34 knockouts, bro. He kind of has that Jorge Linares vibe going on, though. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say. We already know about that. He kind of has that Jorge Linares look. He's wearing that lapel a little bit because all his losses he's been stopped. That was the case with Jorge Linares. All his losses he had been stopped. Prior to Devin Haney. So Miguel Berchelt, man, I felt bad for that dude. I said, damn, he's not right, man. He's sending a damn cautionary flag out to the lightweight division that he's coming. Beware. And I'm saying to myself, this is what we needed, lightweight. Somebody to mix it up. I'm looking at potential opponents. We know Javante like fight Mexican fighters. I said, okay, he get past Nakatila supposedly. It'd be good to see him fight Javante. Just trying to get some opponents. And he goes in there and start getting his ass whooped. And it's boxing though, but I really wanted them to stop that fight a bit earlier. He's only 30 years old, and I truly believe his career is over. Like, even if they bring him in there with this man has had over a year off, right? If they bring him back with an opponent that's considered a soft touch, I don't think that he's going to be able to recover if something else is going on with Berchelt. When you start, look, this is a guy who has an 82.93% KO ratio. And he has only 3 losses to include the one last night. But everybody's psychological and physical anatomy when it comes to the neurological set is different. It degrades differently. And I think Miguel Berchelt's shit is degraded, bro. I think it's degraded. Look, y'all have to understand, it's not just what happens in the ring in front of the viewing audience. It's what happens inside the gyms that we don't see. A lot of these fighters have some very tough sparring matches that fuck them up. Like, a lot of different shit happen with sparring. Headgear has been known. You know what I'm saying? Headgear to some it puts you in a much more vulnerable position than with no headgear. But when you increase the size of the gloves, and according to how many minutes you're going per round, which we already know, a lot of fighters that get conditioned, they go more than 3 minutes per round in sparring. That's why you have these stories of sparring. That's why you have these damn legendary and these legacies and these histories of sparring, because they can get rough. And a fighter like Miguel Berchelt might have hit the road with all the damage he's received in his career, being a knockout artist the way he is. He might have took a whole lot of extensive amount of punishment, man, when he was in that motherfucker. I hope him the best, man. Like Rolly is small in person. Yeah, Rolly is pretty small, but to me, Rolly, like I said, I don't really look at him compared to my weight, but Rolly kind of big to me, because he's short. But for his weight class, that's what I'm talking about size wise. I'm not really talking about the encompassing frame of the fighter. How imposing they are. Now, I'm looking at their weight class, how they look for their weight class. Like when I see Xander Zayas, Xander looks like a middleweight to me in person. I'm glad he moved out from 147 because he could have potentially took a L at 47 just because he was trying to make the weight. But now at 54, he fills out that pretty damn good at 54. Now Belanga, he looks big as F his last fight. But this is my point with Belanga, Andrew. Who's his strength and conditioning? Because I don't know, man. It just seems like you see some fighters like look at the Errol Spence pictures. Look at the Errol Spencer Udenas Ugas pictures. They looking super shredded right now. And we're not even in the month of April. Like, and then you get some of these other fighters like Belanga, and they look like they don't have a motherfucking striation in their body. Why? I mean, is it your diet? Is it drink in between? Is it a cheat meal here? I don't know, man. Like, I understand suave. I understand suave. I get it, bro. But some of these guys look like they don't have nothing going on for physique wise in the fight. They just I don't know. I don't know, bro. It's confusing. King Mitch on deck. What it do, King Mitch? A lot of people were talking shit about Shakur not wanting to get hit by that guy. We found out why last night. Apparently, dude beat old Berchelt. Man, you ain't lying, Mitch. Look, that shows you how smart Shakur is. That's exactly what I was saying. That's exactly what I'm saying that could potentially go down with Devin Haney and Cambosis. I'm telling you. Shakur Stevenson, man, he fought a smart fight against Nakathili and got the win. Look at him. He's picked up a championship after that shit. He took the heat. He took the criticism. Wally told him, hey, Shakur, be smart, man. Fuck what everybody else saying. Get this win because we going for a title at 130. I don't care what anybody else say. Every fight that you go in there with is not going to be entertaining for the fans because at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck about you. What I mean by not give a fuck about you, if you go in there and have a performance like Shakur did, what happened? People turn their back on him. Then they start rebuilding, their support, cheering him when he started to go in there and say, okay, well, we seen him go in there against Jamel Herring. He looked way different. Two different fighters. Jamel Herring doesn't fight like Nakathila did against Shakur Stevenson. But Jamel Herring can box though. And we seen sometimes where he had to bite down and fight. Look at this fight with Ito. Beautiful display, man. Look at this fight with Frampton. Beautiful. But Shakur Stevenson made the right decision to box smart because goddamn Nakathila put the ass whooping on Berchelt and potentially might have damn did some more damage to some CTE shit that he got going on, man. Berchelt said, I didn't feel like myself when he was in there with Oscar. I didn't feel like myself. But now I'm moving up to 135. I'm going to be good. I'm putting the division on notice. Hell no, you ain't putting division because you can't even get past Nakathila, man. You ain't putting shit on notice. Really hate to be the person to say this, but could it be the Valdez been on the tee and messed up Berchelt? But he's definitely not the same. Not saying it was done, but could it be? Man, he could have been on the sauce, man. He could have been on the sauce. It was said. It was proven. Not only that, Conceição, in my opinion, he won that fight. Was Oscar Valdez coming off to the point where he seemed a bit weaker? But when it come down to the gloves, right? Gear or sauce, as they call it, I don't think you're still dealing with the physical strength of a human being. Like, it doesn't increase your shit to immortal type of status. You still on some average type shit. It just allows you to have some type of enhancement, this, that, and the other. I would say he could have changed Berchelt's life if we talking about Antonio Margarita loading his gloves with the plaster of Paris, which he probably had loaded gloves. And I'm gonna go on a limb and say, allegedly he did against the Miguel Cotto fight. Now, that right there can have residual damage. More so, having objects in your glove and punishing somebody like he did Miguel Cotto than him being on the gear with Miguel Berchelt and landing that shot. I think Miguel has too much damage that he's just suffered throughout his career. Everybody, physical anatomy is different, and I just think he's breaking down right now. I mean, dude is only 4 knockouts. You talking about 38 professional wins, dog, with 34 knockouts, man. That's impressive. That's motherfucking impressive to be sitting at an 82% knockout ratio with that many fights. That's impressive. But give it up to Sugar Shane. Give it up. Rest in peace to Nassim. Give it up for attention to detail. Because I'm gonna tell you something else that I think. I think Miguel Cotto will suffer from that fight. That Antonio Margarita damaged him in. I think he will suffer later on in life. Seriously. He took some punishment, man. He took some goddamn punishment that fight, and I don't know if he'll ever be the same. I'm glad he finally retired, but I'm not sure if he's gonna have a long life due to the punishment of Margarito. And check this out. After being caught trying to cheat, we talking about boxing, they allow him to just be suspended and come back and get his license like it's nothing. Man, boxing don't give a fuck, boy. Word up, Valdez on that T had Berchelt like Marquez did Pac. All things point to the T. Top ranked matchmakers be knowing when a fighter ain't the same. They need to do better testing. Isn't it coming out that, it wasn't drug testing for this fight and that fight? Didn't Adrian Broner get on camera and say, hey, where these guys at? Where these guys at? They ain't test me yet. When he's about to go in there and Pacquiao. Y'all remember that shit? That's been rampant throughout the, sports period. You know what I'm saying? That's been rampant throughout sports period, man. Didn't y'all just hear about the testing situation for a particular fight? That's supposedly, it's some conflict that testing ain't been done here, testing ain't been done there. I'm not gonna put nothing out there because motherfuckers be going behind your back and screen recording your shits, send them anonymous emails so you won't get credentialed in this promotion. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro. But I really think at this point in time, if Berchelt took over a year off, right, I think he needs to take more time off and get tested. Seriously, I think he needs to get tested because he has certain other things going on that could potentially be CT. I really don't want to get up here and give any prognosis, right? Because I'm unqualified to do so. But I do believe that Berchelt is fucked up right now. He's really fucked up. You can't say he didn't make weight. He made weight. He's good. I'm saying fuck it. He's good. Hey, and since there's people in the chat, did y'all hear anything about Devin Haney signing to Kambosos? You know what I'm saying? Did y'all hear anything about that yet? Ghost in the building. What's good with it, Ghost? Gear caused a significant incline in your performance. It makes you significantly better. sometimes over 60-70% more. Um, Valpez calls something for sure. You have to look at, once again, when it comes to striking, endurance wise, okay. Um, Power, like, are you truly going to have a significant increase of power, become this world beater? Uh, it, I agree, it's going to have a slight increase, but still, we're talking about the physical anatomy. Let's just say Paulie Malignaggi, a person that was known not to have power. Him being on the sauce or the tea, as you call it, would it have basically benefited Paulie to have more power or more endurance, speed, or whatever? I don't think it would have gave him any more power, man. I don't think it would have gave him any more power. Like, I'm just saying, like, it's been people that test positive after fights in MMA and boxing, and they lost, and they was on the shit. They lost. It still come down to skill set now. It still come down to technique and discipline. It still come down to what you possess as a fighter. You can be loaded up and still go in there and get your ass beat. Dude should have taken 2 to 3 years off after that KO loss. Coming back after 13 months is straight up wrong. Damn. You think he should have took 2 to 3 years off? It's a long ass time not to make no money. You know what I'm saying? I just look at it like this. It's other fighters that's been KO'd in similar manner. And I don't think they took that much time off though. You know what I'm saying? They might take a year. I don't know, man. I don't know. I still think back when Paul Williams was KO'd by Sergio Martinez. You know what I'm saying? Um, he was flatlined. Paul Williams was flatlined, man. But if I'm not mistaken, he came back less than a year and fought Aris Landy Laura and won. He won. You know, that was a bad knockout. That was almost damn near identical to Oscar Valdez knocking out Miguel Berchelt the way Sergio Martinez knocked out Paul Williams. And Paul Williams, that shit, he came back less than a year, if I'm not mistaken, and took on Aris Landy Laura now. Aris Landy Laura was undefeated at the time he came back after that KO, bro. It all depends on the person, man. Real talk. It just depends on the person who was knocked out. Now, don't let me go back to it. Lennox Lewis. You know what happened to Lennox Lewis now? He demanded. Don't let me keep doing these juxtaposed motherfucking proposals of y'all. Dillian White. People gonna say, oh, that's heavyweight. That's even worse. That's even worse, bro. Dillian White. Come on, man. Motherfucking, I think when Lennox Lewis was knocked out by Hasim Rothman, man, that was a brutal motherfucking knockout too. It wasn't like Paul Williams or Miguel Berchelt, but I think he came back in less than a year, and that was heavyweight division. Dillian White, we can say the same. You know, it was delayed because of Alexander catching COVID and shit, but he came back, dog. That was a brutal knockout. That was a brutal fucking knockout, dog. Y'all cannot tell me that Alexander Povetkin knocking out Dillian White wasn't motherfucking brutal. What? Okay, Ghost again. I have to bring this up. What about Leo Santa Cruz? Was Leo Santa Cruz knockout any less than Miguel Berchelt? Was it? Was Leo Santa Cruz knockout any less than Miguel Berchelt? Because I mean that was brutal. I think that would be the only one that kind of fits into your 2-year layoff. That would be the only one, Ghost. Because I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying not every boxer will take your advice because they got to get a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? When Leo Santa Cruz was knocked out, of course, he had to get past suspension. He was suspended indefinitely. Then he had to get the test. And I think with him, he took way over a year before he came back and fought. Carbajal, didn't he? Because that shit was brutal. I think the knockout with Miguel Berchelt and Oscar Valdez and Javante and Leo Santa Cruz was damn near in the same motherfucking graveyard, dog. They was in the same graveyard, man. It was brutal. That shit was brutal, man. Dude should have taken 2-3 years. Pac-Man said, I did lowball offer, but he said he'll take Loma offer. So it's really not lowball if you ask me. I was thinking that they only had 3 days, so the expiration was last night. I still haven't heard anything, even though people put out false information. You know, I mean, that goofy shit that happens over here, but it's not endurance World Combat. It causes better recovery, and it does make you your power output higher depending on what you use. And that's what I'm saying. Different shit does different things, helps out different things. Like I said, I'm not saying you're wrong, because everybody's knowledge on this shit is different, and everybody's body responds to shit differently. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's still education. I'm just saying when it comes to this stuff that GW whatever, from my understanding, it's supposed to I even forgot looking that shit up. I even forgot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna lie to you and say I remember, but I don't know, man. I just see some people that's tested positive ghosts, they lose. They have lost their fight. It doesn't give you a significant increase in power like that to be this crusher, this world beater, brute. You know, I'm thinking endurance. I'm thinking strength, recovery, like you said. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have power and you're on the sauce, I don't know, man. It's according to what weight class you're in, I guess. It's just too many variables to deal with, dog. I'm not a scientist. I have to put on a lab coat and find an empty goddamn Macy's warehouse and cook up some shit. For real, because I don't know, bro. Well, come by, he did just lose. He didn't just lose. He got punished and KO'd badly. And he has a damaged heavy style. 12 months is the minimum time you're supposed to take off for recovery, according to the studies. Okay. All right. 12 months. And once again, I totally get it. And I don't dispute what you're saying. But when it comes to the doctors clearing these fighters who've been knocked out cleanly, I'm talking about brutally, Ghost. They have returned under a year with this punishment. They have returned, man. Like you'll see up there suspended indefinitely. And then they end up getting cleared and shit. They pass all the damn tests. And some of these fighters come back and they still fucked up. But due to who they have behind them or whatever, they'll be able to get cleared to go in there and fight. But good shit though. He also had some bright moments in the fight. What I saw was he was trying new things from what he's been working on in the gym, and he wasn't working on it for a while. Man, Miguel Berchelt, man, I wish you the best, big dog, but you need to take some good time off and don't get your ass back in the gym. Don't get your ass back in the gym and do any sparring anytime soon. Just relax, bro. White is a fighter. I don't want to see him get cussed anymore. I seen him hurt too many times. I mean, he's already having early stages of pugilistic in my opinion. Where he's slurring his speech, barely open his mouth. You know what I'm saying? That knockout, that uppercut was brutal, man. That shit was motherfucking brutal. And when they said he had COVID, when Alexander Povetkin had COVID, it was probably because Dillian White didn't pass his fucking medicals, man. They delayed the fight. I'm just saying. Tell for sure, I saw him try some new things, which was nice to see. That just goes to show you, he couldn't make no excuses as if he wasn't prepared for the fight. He was prepared. He balanced the scales. He did what he needed to do. But when Nakatilia start working him, and that momentum never shifted, dog. He just looked impressive, man. He was fighting long too. Like Nakatilia looked impressive, man. Like I was saying, damn, it would be good to see him run it back. Him and Shakur run it back. But once again, Shakur is a very smart fighter, man. Very smart. And he did what he's supposed to do in that fight. But I gotta give it up for Nakatilia getting that shit done in a fashion which prompted them to stop the fight. And then allow him to get off his stool to come back out there, because he could have very well been another Maxim Dedashev. He could have passed away, fell out, or whatever after the fight. It could have been all bad, man. Danku Kim, you never know, man. This boxing shit ain't no joke. I don't get how Povetkin was cleared to fight. That man had no balance. He wasn't able to walk in a straight line, even during the walkout. I'm so happy he retired. Like, when you want to talk about the sauce ghost, I just think that Alexander Povetkin potentially could have been the same Alexander Povetkin that fought Dillian White in the rematch. But in the first fight, he might have been on the sauce and feeling a bit better just to make that fight. I'm serious, because all the bullshit that happened with Dillian White, samples. You know all the damn shit that goes over there, the therapeutic exemption, all this other bullshit. Somehow, some way, Dillian White's B sample disappeared with Oscar Rivas and all the glove situation. We already know what happened in February 2020. So boxing has their history of being the Cape Crusader. Alexander Povetkin could have very well been on the sauce for his first fight with Dillian White. Boom, knocks him out. Gets back in there. And I couldn't tell you what the fuck happened. It's almost like, man, somebody did something. I don't fucking know. The dude could barely motherfucking walk straight. This dude was motherfucking, it looked like the ropes was loose as shit, because he was just bouncing off the ropes. It was just all bad, bro. He could have very well been on some shit, the first fight, and been off the shit the second fight, because he didn't want to win no more. I don't know. He wasn't in the game. He didn't want to be in the game no more. He was close to retiring, so he came in there off the shit, man. Fuck it. It was Dillian White's turn to get his shit. He get his shot. He got it. And Povetkin says, it's my time to bounce. I mean, they say a lot of fighters back in the day was on the sauce, man. But that's not the topic that I want to dive into right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want people inboxing me on some bullshit. Povetkin was damn near stumbling into the ring. He was, man. His legs was all wobbly and shit. Yeah, I feel you on that. He very well could have been on the sauce he used in the past, but that balance stuff can't be fixed from some sauce. He looked like he was drugged or half asleep. Potentially. Yeah. Hell yeah. Dude looked like he was on goddamn not ibuprofen, but damn. Not a sleep aid. It's not a sleep aid. What's that shit that make you drowsy? Like a muscle relaxer. It makes you drowsy. It's over the counter. OTC. What's that shit? But that shit make you drowsy as fucking weak and shit like that. Take too much of that, man. All you want to do is just go to sleep. Damn. What the fuck is that? I don't know, man. Anyway, somebody will think of it. If you find out what it is, man, let me know in the chat. But I think, it could be any fucking thing with these fighters in boxing, dog. It's just too much out there, dog. It's too much for these fighters to get they shit tainted. For them to go up there and say, damn, I feel bad. Dog. I feel sluggish as fuck. It can be anything, man. There were also talks about gloves in the first fight. Team Povetkin was checking gloves, and there was a change of the gloves in the back. I don't know. A lot of things was fishy. Well, hey, we can say the same thing, Ghost, about Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz fight, I was there. They showed Gervonta with certain gloves on before, and then Leo Santa Cruz, his team was out there, whatever, and Gervonta them changed out the gloves. Floyd Mayweather VIP concierge service. He changed the gloves when it wasn't even a team member back there. Like I said before, boxing do what boxing does, man. Some rules apply to others more than they do, certain fighters. He changed gloves before he came out there with Leo Santa Cruz. I mean, it's shit that goes on. Let's look at the Maestre, if you pronounce his name like that, and Fox fight. He came out there with some fucked up, manipulated gloves with the padding. They had him change the shit after the commission had signed off on it and still allow him to fight, robbed Fox, and then overturn it. Once again, Captain Corruption wears the same cape all the fucking time, dog. The gloves with goddamn Dillian White came out there with different fucking gloves. Just what you said, Ghost. Goddamn Alexander Povetkin. Man, gloves are the equipment that is supposed to protect the hands. But if you manipulate them, they will indeed fuck up the fighter, your opposition. They can fuck them up. Gloves are used to protect the hands, but they can become different types of weapons if, by per se, you load them or you going against the damn regulations of wrapping hands and having damn foreign objects in glove, whatever the case may be. But we have had signs of Antonio Margaritos, the Dillian Whites, you know what I'm saying? Povetkin checking shit, the Wilder Fury situation. We had several times that we've ran across this, and we're gonna continue to run across the Maestre and Fox. Plenty of times we had glove situations that go down. Shit with Floyd Mayweather and Oscar, right? We have debates about horsehair gloves and shit like that. He looked like he popped 5 Xannies, 30 minutes, and drank some Henny before the fight. The man couldn't even stand up. Man, if he popped 5 Xannies with some Henny, dog, he ain't walking down to the ring, Ghost. This motherfucker is Ghost. Excuse me, anyone seen Povetkin? Anyone? Please locate him. Povetkin in the parking lot in the motherfucking back seat sleep in his goddamn uniform with his ring attire on. The motherfucker's back there sleep comfortably, dog. Serious. Povetkin's back there snoring. He's comfortable. He don't even know he has a fight coming up, man. Fuck around with some Henny and Xannies. Converse Brooks, same shit. Change gloves in the ring. Don't know how. Bro. Absolutely. Another recent example. They came in there in front of the cameras and did that shit. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing, dog? Like, man, this when boxing, sometimes like the system of boxing, it just continues to do blatant shit, man, because they have pretty much conditioned us to accept the abuse that's going on with boxing. When he walked in the ring and started taking off gloves, I say, man, I mean, they all about the wrong shit, dog. Like, why would you do that? Then you just warm up with them motherfuckers in the back. What was the purpose of all that shit, dog? Explain that to me. Let me get your insight on that. Whoever in the chat. What do you think the reason was for them to change that shit in front of the cameras in the ring? What was the reason for that? Javante didn't do that shit in the ring. He did it in the back. Does it provide you a broader, a broader audience for supervision so that you're not cheating? Why did they change out his gloves in the ring? I'm not talking about producer notes like what was said on a, why do you think he changed out his gloves in the ring? Usyk accused Chisora and Khan spoke on Canelo gloves feeling like stones, just saying. Man, now y'all about to get into some Sunday soliloquy. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna turn this in motherfucking CSI, motherfucking boxing most wanted. For real. They want to talk about boxing most wanted in this motherfucker on a Sunday, dog. I am not getting into gloves being this, that, and the other. Shit. I just wanted to know why, with the Khan and Brook fight, why did he wait to get in the motherfucking ring and change the gloves, dog? When does that shit ever happens? When does it ever happens? Why wasn't Maestre gloves impounded? Just like Luis Resto gloves was impounded. On that top ranked card, Luis Resto gloves was impounded by the commission, inspected, and found to be tampered with. Why wasn't Maestre gloves impounded and an investigation performed on that shit if they manipulated the padding on the knuckles with the tape on there? Why wasn't it impounded? Because you can clearly see if it was manipulated to a point where the referee identified it. Why wasn't the motherfuckers changed out and impounded and we heard something else about it? Because it's boxing. Because it's boxing. That's why, man. They just letting you know we would do whatever we want. We don't care. And you can't do anything about it. That's just, I mean, I look at the WBC in that manner because really I always say that boxing is a system. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, people compete in boxing, but boxing is not a unit, a single unit, because it has no president or nothing. So everybody's just doing what the fuck they want to do. So when you say boxing, so to speak, it's not really boxing per se. It's just people who understands that they have so many avenues, so many back alleys they can take the fuck over other fighters. It's all about the money behind that fighter. It's all about the experience of that fighter, the Wall Street of that fighter. It's never going to change. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be like that with boxing. It's a non-regulated sport. You have everybody that can be a promoter if they get the license, so to speak, and you have the money to be. I mean, it's just dirty. It's a grimy, dirty type of cesspool that continue to put fighters' lives in danger. And when you see these fighters out here broke and they have pugilistic and shit, dementia. I mean, you gotta think to yourself, when will the sport ever become regulated? When will it ever become a president of this of boxing? Because we already have commissions, but that's just regionally. That's regionally. When we have an overall president, when we have a single commission that oversees, and you can place grievances into. You can submit grievances, almost like an HR department, in the workforce. Will we ever do that? Will we ever have a union that fighters can now start getting paid a stipend once they're retired from the sport? That's big. That's very important. Gives more security. Teach on deck. What's good? What's good with you, Teach? No bans was given either, and no investigation to how those got approved. Why? Because it's boxing. Yeah, man. My ashtray glove should have been impounded, and they should have very well did a more in-depth investigation. If the referee caught it, and he seemed it was a bit eccentric, something's out of place here. Somebody, I'm not saying the referee, but the referee is that person that caught it. Just like in Luis Resto and Billy Collins fight, his dad shook Luis' hand and said, "Damn, it's barely anything in there," and he basically sequestered the motherfucking commission to impound the gloves because he felt that they was fucked with. And come to find out, they took the gloves that night. They kept the gloves. They took the gloves that night, and the rest is history. They served time off that shit. It ruined lives. It ruined Billy Collins' life to the point where he took his own life. And then you have Panama Lewis, who's banned. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's out of boxing, period, but he can't come in within. He can't cross over to this perimeter and be ringside. He's banned for fucking life, dog. I'm just curious, like, I just always think about that moment, and then I think about all the other things that's happened with boxing. And I'm saying to myself, they banned Panama Lewis, but you do have repeat offenders that's in boxing. So manipulating the equipment, is that worse than testing positive for the sauce? Which one has a bit more depth of severity? Because both of them are considered to be cheating. I mean, that just always sit with me. Like, why ban Panama Lewis for what he did when there's other individuals who've been caught and haven't been banned? I think Antonio Margarita should have been banned because he had a foreign substance on his hand wraps. I don't know. Boxing is crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say about it. Boxing is crazy when it comes to that. Because until they get some type of regulation, until they get some type of precedent, until they get some some consistency, boxers will continue to get hurt, man. Boxers will continue to damn face life-threatening situations where if they're unable to continue to box and pass medicals, they're physically unfit, then they have to go out here and find another job. But then with finding another job outside the ring, sometimes that residual effect that took them out of the ring may affect them out in civilian pop. They may go out here and start fighting and have, start getting arrested for shit because it's not like they're trying to do it purposely, but they might be, at a point right now, psychologically, they fucked up. So they might have a short fuse. They might be, in haste to impulsively respond to somebody physically. And that's when you see boxers starting to get arrested for shit and all this other stuff. So it's fucked up, especially with no compensation, not even workman's comp. You know what I'm saying? You don't get workman's comp for boxing. Like if you go out on a disability and you're unable to work, you can't get like 3 years or something to put you out the sport. I mean, that's crazy. You only get the paycheck that you made until you step in the ring again. But I'm not trying to bring up no shit on Sunday, man. I'm just talking some shit, bro. D-Ray Promotions on deck. What's good with you? What else out here, man? Um, I did like the Roman. You know, she went in there and defended her. I believe it was a super flyweight title, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But she went in there to defend her title, and she fought like a former bodybuilder in Bridges. And I'm gonna tell you that fight was very entertaining. So was the Warrington and Martinez fight. You know, give it up for Warrington. You know, taking us back to the Scott Quigg, Oscar Valdez. You know, he broke his jaw before he stopped. You know what I'm saying, Martinez. That shit was crazy. That was a good ass fight. But the ladies, man, one thing I liked about that fight was they wasn't sloppy at all. You know what I'm saying? That just goes to show you a lot of people can take up boxing. Everybody's gonna transition over differently. Bridges used to be a former bodybuilder, transition over to boxing, and she has pretty good skills, man. Now with the women, you don't have power like that, but boxing skills, you know, they gave us the show. I can't dog them out because it's been some males who fought like that, and we praised the shit out of them. You know what I'm saying? They was giving you pretty much a head-to-head close quarters battle, man. And not only that, but you seen Bridges digging the hook to the body coming up, splitting the splitting the guard with that uppercut. She kept doing it. And Roman didn't make any adjustments to avoid it. So Bridges kept on obliging, you know, ringing the doorbell. Pop pop. You know, I mean, it was nice combinations. I'm talking about Jihad Tucker type coming like 8, 10, 12 punch combinations sometime from Bridges. You know, both of these ladies was basically banging it out in there, and it wasn't sloppy. It wasn't like no slapping shit, no girl fight in the schoolyard. That shit was very, you know, technically sound, and they was going at it, man. It was a firefight. I like that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be honest with you. When it comes to MMA, I love the women fights. I does way more than I love women fighting in boxing. It all depends on who it is, but it's more of a consistency in MMA when it comes to the women fighting than boxing, in my opinion. In my opinion, that's all. You know what I'm saying? But that was a damn good fight, man. And Bridges ended up winning it because she was much more active. You know, she just started breaking Roman down. Too much activity. You know what I'm saying? Her punch output, her punch placement, her body work. She wasn't just headhunting the whole time. She was actually applying an offensive strategy. She was digging with the hooks, man. And then when she did go up, when Roman did go to the ropes, she made her pay for being over there. Just like Gausha, you know, he parked up against the ropes. Tszyu went over there and let him know that, yeah, you're making it easy for me. Here you go. But shout out to the ladies, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the ladies for getting it done. Bridges ended up picking up the title, and we'll see what's next for her. She had already had a title shot before, but she ended up losing it. But she came back and picked this up against Roman. So it was a good fight, man. It was a real good fight. And of course, the UFC, it wasn't too much of a heavy card, but yeah, well, boxing, man, let's just sit up here and wait, bro, to what we got next. Let's sit up here and wait and be patient. That's all we can fucking do. Um, I couldn't tell you what else is on the horizon. I'm saying we know we have Oscar Valdez and Steven. So that's Shakur Stevenson, but I'm not sure as to why it's taking so long with Devin Haney and George Kambosos. I don't fucking know, dog. But we got Shakur Stevenson done. We got that shit. We got that. And now it goes into all a big circus and shit, and we still haven't got any type of damn um solid information that the damn fight between Kambosos is gonna happen. What y'all think about Elvis Rodriguez yesterday, man? At one point in time, Elvis Rodriguez was the guy until he walked in there with the boxer. What did y'all think? That's what I want to ask. What did you think about Elvis Rodriguez, man? He ended up stopping his opponent, I believe, in the 7th. What do you think about that? You think he's a threat in that division? Or he still got a ways to go? Because, man, I remember he came out the gate and they was high on Rodriguez, man. God damn. The whole name, Elvis Rodriguez. You know what I'm saying? And then he ran into a boxer, bro. What do y'all think about Joey Spencer's lifeline? Is his lifeline getting shorter and shorter, bro? Is his lifeline getting shorter, Joey Spencer? He outpoints his opponent. But man, come on, bro. Somebody let me know. What y'all think about Elvis Rodriguez and Joey Spencer? People ain't trying to really talk about that shit. People say, fuck that. I want to talk about no Joey Spencer or no Elvis Rodriguez, man. I want to talk about something that's actual, but look, all the actual fights, man, they far off. I ended with this. Hey, did y'all see the interview with ES News when he was in Charlo's gym? You know what I'm saying? Like there's no other media that can. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it can be a brother that can get that access like that. So you have Charlo riding around. I know I couldn't because I say, no, I drive, man. First of all, I wouldn't get the access, period. Let's be honest. Because I'm not that dude. I'm not going to get Google eyed over big shit. So Ellie was in the car with Charlo. And Charlo kind of pretty much, made the, put it out there subliminally that Canelo is not really giving you that personal access. And neither did the Charlos up to now. You know what I'm saying? Like the Charlos really ain't riding media around in their car like that. I couldn't see myself not knowing him or breaking bread with him to ride in his sports car with media, even though that'd be something that'd be cool. That'd be cool to do that. But he said, Canelo ain't giving you this type of access and riding you around in the car. And you're right. But the one thing about my people, if it was me, that I know for a fact, is that if they gave you that access, they're going to expect you to talk nothing but good on their name, regardless of what their performances is. It's going to be so many stipulations. Hey, I don't like that. I don't like that. That guy right there. I don't like that. If you want to come back over here, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it from my own people. I've seen it on this YouTube shit where people try to destroy what you built, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the heat. They just try to tear you all the way down. You know what I'm saying? It was funny seeing that take place because if you don't understand what's going on with boxing media when it comes to YouTube and mainstream, is that we've been pretty much restricted from a lot of these fighters from getting personal shit like that or getting access. And the bad thing about it is that this is why I this is why I'm very reserved with putting an extreme amount of effort into working for free on this YouTube shit. Is we put all this effort into doing research and lives and stuff like that, but yet it's at a point right now where a lot of us on here don't request credentials. First of all, they don't go to the fights, and then those of us who are attending the fights, it's not like we have approval every time we put in for a fight. We don't get approved. I don't understand the system, but there are only a certain few names on one hand that can get approval anywhere, everywhere, and they get all the access to everybody. Hey, to be honest with you, I don't want that shit. I don't want access to everybody because there's no way that I would, feel right unless we was genuinely friends. Like if I'm just stopping over and I'm on the plane this, I'm on the plane that, I'm on the road here, road that. I've done that already. I did that. But I wouldn't mind with some of my favorite fighters to be able to have personal access. I think outside of, Michael Williams Jr., I would say Teofimo Lopez was that guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can say all the ones. Deontay Wilder, in training camp and shit like that. It would be good to get more access to training camps instead of, you know, having to go through all the red tape and go in reverse. I feel if you get approved for several cards at these promotions, you should be good with a lot of them. You should be able to get approved for a lot of them, bro. But um they pushing ES News, which is only one face, one name, one camera. He's only one face, one name, one camera, dog. There's a huge ceiling with the growth aspect. When you have all these media personnel out here on YouTube that can be giving you promo too. That can be giving these fighters promo, man. It's so many of us out here. So that's when I get the opportunity, I take it. But it's not many. Times is changing. Just look at I'm gonna leave you with this. Look at the UFC. The UFC really truly don't fuck with the YouTube media. I'm not saying it's not people that's on YouTube. Of course they got people that does podcasts, but the UFC really have sanitized. They have made it a strict rule and they abide by that shit. That they're gonna keep that shit clean. You're not gonna just have motherfucking YouTube media going to their events. This, and this. Nah, that's not the way Dana and all them cats have it, bro. It's difficult for you to get up in the UFC. Even Bellator, PFL. Mixed martial arts is different. BJJ tournaments, I've been able to get into. But MMA events, like on the level of the UFC, it's very, very difficult, man. At my age, I'm gonna be honest. I'm just not in the ass kissing mindset to put in all the effort emotionally to prove, that I have a passion to do this, that, and the other. I just don't want to go through that. You know what I'm saying? And that has a lot to do with the military. It has a lot to do with the people I dealt with in life while being the general's briefer. Being in charge of damn units. It's just shit that I really don't want to damn capitulate to like that. Anyway. But that's all I got today, people. You know what I'm saying? We haven't heard anything with the Cambosa situation. Just let that shit ride for whatever comes out. And y'all continue to tune in and support the channel, man. Turn up to the World Combat Sports, man. I'm out.